Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Kupferberg Holocaust Center. Welcome to the Korean American Civic Empowerment. Welcome to the Korean American Lawyers Association of Greater New York. And welcome to the Washington Coalition of Comfort Women Issues. I feel somewhat overwhelmed tonight for several reasons. 3.5 years ago, when we were approached by the people from KACE, the Korean American Civic Empowerment, they asked us if we would be willing to do a program on something called the Comfort Women. And I knew a little bit about it, but we said we are in a Holocaust center. What do we have to do with the Comfort Women? In fact, today, the Chancellor Milliken of the City University system of 24 colleges in New York City, the City University, was here visiting. And one of the stops he made was he came to the Holocaust Center. And I took him on a tour, and he looks around. He said, "What are all these pictures here? What do they have to do with the Holocaust?" He said, "They're Asian. What do they have to do with the Holocaust?" And I told him the story of the Comfort Women. In about 3 minutes, he said, "Now I understand why you have it here." Because what happened in the Holocaust was a denial of justice for people. It was a brutality. It was outright murder in several cases. And the very, very powerful connection that the Kupferberg Center has with the Holocaust and what we call the Comfort Women of Korea is sitting right up here. You see two of our honored guests today from Korea. You see one woman there, Hanny Liebman, and another is on the way, Ethel Katz. These two women are Holocaust survivors. These two women are survivors of what took place against them because of who they were during World War II. And in both cases, this group of women and the Holocaust survivor group of women are only asking one thing. They do not want to be forgotten. And what we tell our students who come to the Holocaust Center to study about what happened to these women in Korea and about what happened to the Holocaust survivors, we tell our students, you are not students. You are insurance policies. You are here to guarantee to our survivors that they will not be forgotten. You are here to do that. When students come into our center and see this work of Steve Cavallo that we put up here and we have in the other gallery, they walk away mad. They walk away angry. And the reason they walk away angry, they will say to me, "Dr. Flug, I'm in college now. How come I never learned of this before?" Or they'll say, "How come nothing has been done on behalf of these women? Why are they still waiting for justice?" We got it? Okay? And the answer is, we have a program for it. We are one of the few colleges in the United States that has taken this seriously and made it part of our curriculum. When we first started the program, I only could get 6 students to come and become involved in the program. Now we have a waiting list of students to come in, which is probably the most rewarding thing because all of you know that students tend to follow certain programs and certain courses because it's an exciting thing. And this has transformed our students from just being students into being spokespersons for social justice. I'd like to introduce someone now who is very important and who is one of the leaders who approached us to undertake this program, Mr. Dongchang Kim, the president of KACE. Mr. Kim?
Good evening, everyone. We have been here almost 3 years, right? Yeah. This semester is the third internship programs, and all interns they have interview through the online Skype to the sharing house in Seoul. So those interns, how many interns are here? Yeah. Maybe next time, if we have the fourth semester interns, we're gonna invite you, all of you, what was their achievement. No matter how much time has passed or where we are from, the comfort woman issue is still relevant. We must settle this issue to restore the dignity of the victims and for the development of the greater humanity. It is my hope that tonight we can use this lecture as a platform where we can reestablish our goals and put our initiatives to actions. Thank you, everyone.
In Yiddish, which I don't think anybody here speaks, there is a word, and the word is beshert. It means it was destined to happen. Something, when two things come together, it was destined to happen. And what was destined to happen was when we were thinking of putting together a program on the Comfort Woman, I said to Mr. Kim and I said to Chajin Park, I know a lot about the Holocaust. I don't know that much about the Comfort Woman and what took place in Asia during World War II. Can you get us someone? And he said, I think I can. And he introduced me to Dr. Jimin Kim of Columbia University. He's an expert on that. And I spoke to her, I sat down, and after about 5 minutes, I realized this was the person that we need. This was the person who could meet with our students and give them an insight into what took place in Korea during World War II and how these women victims of Korea were looking for justice and what happened to them. And I'd like to introduce Dr. Jimin Kim.
Thank you. I assume that many of you are familiar with the compared women issue, but for those who are not familiar with the issue, I'd like to briefly introduce the compared women issue. Under the name of compared women system, the Japanese military during the World War II first took young girls by force and forced them to sexually serve Japanese soldiers in front line, and that there were up to 200,000 young girls, and Oksun Lee and Ilchool Kang were among them. And it was not until 1992 that those survivors came forward to tell their stories, and these are survivors. And in our program, each semester about 10 students are chosen, and they learn about history, the history of World War II, history about war crimes, and we discuss about those issues, and we finally have interviews with those compared women in Korea via Skype. And after the interview, they created projects, group projects, and individual projects. So two of the interns from last semester will show you their projects, and they tell you about their stories, their experience of the program. So I like to remind you that we have we in this room, everyone who listens to their stories tonight has responsibility to remember and tell their stories to others. That's why my students tell me that this program have changed their lives forever. And I like to urge you to become delegates for those women, those ladies from tonight. I'm a historian and a teacher, and I believe in the power of history education. History education, by learning history, it can change your life and others' lives, and finally solve this compared to women issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. I'd like to call on. I'd like to. And your name is. Okay. I'd like to call on our translator here, who is going to serve as the translator for our two honored guests' stories.
Hi, my name is Yoon Sun Na, and I am with Korean American Civic Empowerment, and I'll be translating for these two special ladies that we have here tonight. So yes, should I? All right, do we have another microphone, or do we just have
Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
자리 안 바꾸겠다. 거기서만 해도
자리를 바꿔?
그래야지.
잠깐만, 지금 두 분이 동시에 말씀하시는 거세요?
아니.
아니시죠? 오케이.
아이고 좀
알겠습니다. 먼저 말씀하시겠어요?
내가 먼저 말해. 앉아서 얘기를 해.
말씀하시면 돼요.
이리 앉아서. 여러분들 안녕하십니까? 만나서 반갑습니다. 초민이. 이래 모두 여러분들이 사모가 바쁜데도 불구하고 우리를 위해서 이렇게 배우니까 참 반갑습니다.
제가 할까요?
저는 어디서 왔는가 하면 한국 경기도 광주시 대천면이 나눔의 집이라는데 알고 있습니다. 그 나눔의 집에 우리 같은 할머니들이 많이 있어요. 그래서
Hello. Good evening. It is really nice to see all of you here, and I am very pleased to meet you all. I currently reside in the House of Sharing, which is located in Gwangju City of Gyeonggi Province in South Korea.
그래서 제가 여기 온 원인은 뭐인가? 우리가 가게 제 나라로 잊어버리고 일본 놈한테 끌려가서 중국으로 가갖고 피땀 흘리며 참 피를 흘리며 고생을 했어요.
We were taken to China by the Japanese Imperial Army, and we had to suffer through mental anguish and physical torment.
그래서 해방돼서 제 고향을 찾아왔는데 중국 가서 60년을 있었어요. 60년 동안에 죽었다가 살아왔어요. 제가 부모도 모르고 아무도 모르고 큰 길에 나갔다 끌려갔기 때문에 사람이 불체를 하나 없었으니까 차들로 댕기잖아요. 그 차들로 댕기다가 못해서 없으니까 죽었다고 사망 신고를 해버려. 제 한국에는 국길이 없었어요.
Even after Korea regained its sovereignty, it took me 60 years until I could go back to Korea from China.
그러고 보니까 설계라는 게 있죠. 왜서 산 사람을 놓고 죽었다 했는가. 그래갖고 나눔의 집으로 저는 2006월 1일에 도착했어요. 지금 산 게 나눔의 집에서 산 게 정말 행복입니다 이게. 예요.
I have settled at the House of Sharing since 2000 June 1st, and I am very happy to be residing in the House of Sharing.
지금 이런 사람들이 말하기를 뭐라고 하는가. 우리가 중국에 가서 양서를 꾸리지 않고 한국 딸들 하나도 강제로 가져간 게 없다. 그렇게 말을 하는 거예요. 그래 봅시다. 정말 한국 딸들 하나도 아이 가져갔는가. 제 본심도 우리나라가 없을 적에 태어났어요. 그랬는데 제가 15살에 큰길에 나갔다가 끌려갔는데 어디로 갔는가 하면 직접 전 중국으로 갔어요. 중국 연변 연길시라는 데 떨어졌어요. 그래서 거기는 중국 연변이기 때문에 왜 연변인가? 한국 살인만 사기 때문에 거기 연변이 조선 살인만해. 그래서 제가 조선말 잊어버리고 우리 고향말 다 버리고 거기에 사투리를 배워가지고 왔어. 지가 하는데 알아듣겠는지 모르겠어요.
When I was kidnapped to be taken as a sex slave for the Japanese army when I was 15 years old, I was taken to Yanbian City in China. However, a lot of Korean people resided there, and I was able to retain my Korean language despite living in China for a prolonged period of time. And I may have some dialect that's native to that region in China, so I hope that you'll be able to understand.
그리고 제가 여기 온 원인은 미국 분들이 우리 힘이 약하고 모자라서 좀 도와달라고 여기까지 임원들 찾아왔어요.
And I have traveled all the way from South Korea to ask for all of you here in the United States for help to make our voices be heard.
그래서 우리가 원래 나라끼리 해야 되는데 할머니들이 개인으로 만날 나가서 사죄해라, 배상해라. 할머니들이 힘만 들었지 성과가 하나도 없어요. 우리가 힘이 약하니까 그런데 거기서 일본서 돈이 없어서 할머니들 배상 아예 하는 게 아니고 돈이 있는데 우리 한국 정부에서 일본에 대고 너네 사죄를 해라 배상해라 이거 대책을 달구지 않으니까 한국 사람을 없애기는 거예요. 그래갖고 이놈들 멋을 했는데 우리는 한국 나라 돌아 우리 뱃살을 가지자. 할머니들 배상 안 하고 그걸로 전쟁 준비를 하고 있어요. 지금. 그런들 어떤 놈들인가 보세요. 예? 남 나라로 침략해서 전에만 잘 살자고 하는데 이거 안 되지. 우리 한국 딸들 가다가 찔러 죽이고 쏘아 죽이고 째 죽이고 그리고 나 먹은 사람 데려간 게 아니라 나이 어린 사람 11살부터 가져갔어요. 여자라고 생긴 겁니다. 11살부터 11, 12, 13, 15 이런 것만 가져갔어요.
All those years when us formal sex slaves tried to ask the Japanese government for compensation and apology, all our work were mostly fruitless because we were so powerless. And because the action on the Korean government was so weak, the Japanese government really belittled us and never really listened to our voices. These so-called comfort women who were taken to be used as sex slaves by the Japanese Imperial Army were as young as 11 years old. And the comfort women, they came in a very wide range of ages. So 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and in their 20s.
그래가지고 할머니들 배상 안 하고 한국을 도로 빼들어 가려고 그러는데 할머니들 역사가 없다고 그냥 외우하다가 마감에 할 수 없으니까 독도로서 따이라고 해서 그 땅을 또 뺏지 못했죠. 독도로 못 뺏들었지. 그러니까 서울 한판에다 말뚝이 갖다 박아놓고 여기 우리 땅이다. 이런 험한 일이 어둠에 있어요. 그래서 그것도 못 뺏으니까 우리 한국을 못 가져가지. 옛날 일찍에는 우리 한국이 힘이 없고 예? 너무너무 고상했죠. 그러니까 남한테 뺏겨왔지 지금은 안 되죠. 암만 그래도 우리 한국을 뺏들어 못 간다. 이랬는데 지금 또 다시 또 치려고 이렇게 하는데 얼마나 나쁩니까? 이래서 우리끼리 맨날 댕기면서 데모를 해도 효과가 하나도 없는 거예요. 그래서 제가 미국에 몇 번 왔댔는데 척감역에 이릉비리 서울직에 왔는데 그때도 세워놓고 집으로 갔는데 며칠 안 돼서 전화가 막 오는 거예요. 그 원인이 뭔가 할머니 욕전 할머니 요즘 날 이릉비 서울직에 왔다 갔죠. 갔댔다고. 일본 놈들이 그 이릉비를 왜 거기다가 씌우는가? 빼버리라. 그 백인들 지금 다 뽑았죠. 이게 옳습니까? 됩니까? 이래 미국에서 이렇게 해줬는데 마음대로 어떻게 뽑아 판가치겠지?
There also has been a recent conflict over the sovereignty of the island of Dokdo, and back during World War II, Korea may have been powerless, and Korean people may have suffered through so much agony, but now, I mean, in the 21st century, we cannot let that happen again. And it is just ridiculous that the Japanese government is still trying to take away what the Korean people have. But despite us trying to protest against all this, the results have been meager at best. And then I heard about the installation of the Comfort Women Memorial in the United States, and that is one of the reasons that I came to the United States. But it came to my attention that some Japanese people and Japanese officials from Japan have also come to the United States protesting against the installation of the Comfort Women Memorial. And how could this be? How can they do this to us?
그래서 그 일본 놈들이 중국 가서 이안도라고 대놓고 세계적으로 여자들 다 끌어다가 거기다 갖다 였고 죽인 거예요. 우리 한국 여성만 해도 20몇 명을 강제로 끌어갔어요. 근데 살아온 사람이 몇이 안 됩니다.
The Japanese Imperial Army set up these comfort stations in China, and they took women from various East Asian and Southeastern Asian countries. and took these women to these comfort stations to use them as sex slaves and murder them and torture them.
일본 사람들 잘못한 일 말하려면 한이 없지만은 제가 저 간단하게 이렇게만 말하겠는데 어찌나 미국에서 어느 또 이런 글씨 온 거 보고 왔는데 이렇게 우리를 미국에서 생각해서 받아주는데 전에는 안 하고 왜서 남의 나라에서 하는 거 반대를 하는 거예요. 그게 너무 무리하지 않습니까?
And I mean, the Japanese government has committed several war crimes, but I would like to keep this short. What I just want to ask is, why are they coming to the United States that is outside, beyond their boundaries of sovereignty? Why are they coming to the United States and saying something about the installation of the Comfort Women Memorial?
그래서 이것은 검언돼서 이것은 찾아왔는데 어찌나 부탁드리겠는데 꼭 좀 도와주세요. 같이 힘 더 내갖고 우리가 죽기 전에 사죄를 좀 받고 싶게. 우리 명예와 인권을 누가 죄밟고 뺏들어갔습니까? 그놈들이 뺏들어갔는데 뺏들어간 사람한테가 받아야 되죠. 꼭 이거 어떻게 해명해 주길 바랍니다. 이만까지.
I'd like to ask you to please give us a helping hand to help us receive an apology from the Japanese government before we die, to regain our dignity and our rights. So yes, I take this opportunity to ask for your helping hand one last time, and thank you very much.
여러분 안녕하십니까?
Good evening.
예. 나는 어디서 태어났는가 하면 남쪽의 경상북도 상주에서 태어났습니다.
I was born in the Sangju city in North Gyeongsang province in Korea.
그래서 우리 역사는 참 말하기도 정말 부끄럽습니다. 우리 한국 사람이 왜 일본 사람한테 뽑혀가갔어요? 일본 놈이 네가 낳지도 않고 네 동생도 아니고 너 누나도 아닌데 왜 우리를 끌고 가는가?
I am really ashamed to be telling you about the Korean history. Why did the Japanese government take us away by force? We are not your sisters, we are not your brothers. Who were the Japanese people to be taking us away from our home like that?
일본 사람이 전 세계적으로 사람을 딱 같은 사람으로 그때도 속에는 짐승보다도 더 못합니다.
The war crimes that the Japanese committed during World War II was something that was even below humanness in a way.
우리는 대한민국의 한국 사람인데 일본 사람이 관계없는 일이래요. 우리 조선을 자기네가 침략했잖아요. 그러니까 자기 마음대로 하는 거야.
After Japan took Korea's sovereignty, the Korean people were reduced to nothing more than clowns or puppets for the Japanese government.
전 세계적으로 제일 악독하고 아주 모진 놈들은 일본 사람이래요. 일본 사람이 절대 못 일어나게 미국이나 한국이나 소련이나 똑같이 그 사람들을 해야 돼요. 같이 대적을 해야 된단 말이래요.
The international community must prevent the Japanese government from from committing any war crimes in the future.
그런데 미국에는 강대하기 때문에 그놈들이 감히 못할까 들지만은 조그만 나라는 지 손에 넣고 있어. 전에 맘대로 군대 가라. 딸아들은 대불라다가 전에 희생품이 됐어요. 우리가 이런 말을 정말 하기가 힘들어요. 우리가.
The Japanese government may have a lot of small countries under their control, but I believe the United States is strong enough to combat against any more atrocities that the Japanese government could possibly create in the future.
나는 학교 소학교 다니다가 경상북도 상주에서 내가 걸려갔거든요. 왜 일본 사람한테 우리 한국 사람이 그렇게 걸려가야 돼요? 우리나라도 전에가 배탈했잖아, 일본 놈이. 그렇게 해놓고 우리도 끌고 가고.
I was only a student in elementary school when I was kidnapped by the Japanese Imperial Army in the city of Sangju. And I still wonder to this day why I had to be whisked away from my home like that.
나는 형제가 오빠가 서이고 언니가 서이고 내가 7째다. 그랬는데 우리 엄마가 나가 많아요. 그래도 내가 막내다. 그랬는데 엄마는 내가 학교 가다가 빨리 안 오면 봤어요. 아빠랑 저기 멀리 나 대불러 오는 거예요. 하루는 대불러 가도 내가 안 보였어. 그리고 우리 엄마가 당시에 까무러쳤대요.
I had 3 older brothers and 3 older sisters. Out of 7 siblings, I was the youngest one. And whenever I would return home late, my mother and my father would always wait for me out on the front porch. And the day that I never went back, yes, it was a great trauma for them.
그래 나는 어디로 끌고 갔는가 하면 중국으로 끌고 갔어. 중국에 가서 편지도 못해.
I was taken to China.
편지도 못하지. 해방되고도 잠깐 어떻게 가지고 38선이 가로막혀서 가지도 못해. 오지도 못하고.
I wasn't able to write any letters in China, and even after Korea regained its sovereignty, I wasn't able to go back to my home country because of the 38th parallel.
그렇지만은 이런 말은 중국 사람한테도 말 못하고 한국 사람한테도 내가 끌려와 가지고 중국에서 있다 그거 말을 못하는 거야. 너무 나빤데기가 소가죽을 안 씌운다면 이런 말을 하기가 힘드는 거예요. 엄마 아빠 없다고 그랬어요.
It was so hard for me to share my story, let alone with the Chinese people, when I could barely to share my story with the Korean people.
그리고 지금도 일본 사람이 자기가 일어나게 되면 우리 한국을 맨지 먹으려고 그래요. 저 일본 사람이 부산에 그 배를 타면 저 부산에 저 일본에서 불을 타면 부산에 와서 내리거든요. 부산에서 조금 더 오면 경상북도 상주래요. 우리 고향에는 감도 많고 그런 데에 대추도 많고.
The Japanese boats would arrive at the port in Busan, which was very near my hometown, the Sangju city.
그런데 우리 조카는 오빠 아들이 나보다가 좀 나가 많아요. 내가 막내 돼서 우리 집에는 그랬는데 가는 군대 가서 죽었어요. 나는 해방되고 편지를 했는데 조카는 어떻게 됐는가 군대에서 죽었다 하죠. 내 우이라고 우리 큰오빠 아들.
I wrote a letter to my relative after the Korean War, but I found out that he passed away during the war.
그런데도 엄마 아빠는 그래요. 너는 빨리 가라. 또 일본 놈이 또 일어나서 또 오게 되면 또 너를 잡아다가 어떻게 할지 모른다고. 그때는 내가 어디에 있었는가? 길림시에 이완소에 있었어요. 그러니까 일본 놈들이 다 지나갔잖아요. 그 다음에 우리가 나오게 됐어요.
I was stationed at a comfort station in Kilim in China.
그렇지만은 우리 한국 사람도 좀 힘을 쓰고 이런 데 대해서 주의해. 남자들은 군대로 가고 우리는 이완소로 끌고 가는 거예요. 우리 땅도 뺏고 한국 땅도 아니라 한국 사람 마음대로 하지도 못했어.
Under the Japanese occupation, the Korean men were forcibly drafted to serve as soldiers during the war, and the Korean women were forcibly taken to be used as sex slaves for the Japanese army. We had absolutely no control over our actions.
그래 여러분들을 만나보니까 내가 이렇게 지난 이야기를 하지만 나는 내 속으로 눈물이 속으로 내려가고 있어요. 너무 기쁘고 정말 미국에 사는 우리 동포들이랑 미국 사람들이랑 얼마나 우리 이야기를 고생한 말을 듣기는 너무 거북하지만 모두 여러 사람들이 다 알아야 돼 이걸 우리가 주의해야 되고 또
I may be talking about a story from a very distant past, but it still tears me up whenever I try to share my story. And I am so happy and glad that I am here with you all in the United States to be sharing my story.
그리고 전번에 내가 몇 번 일본에서 또 가서 정인했어요. 이제는 다시도 안 가. 왜 안 가나 하면 꼴도 보기 싫어요. 우리 조카 데리고 가서 내 우이라 가 죽었지. 내가 가서 고향에 가지도 못하고 지금 38선이 가로막혔잖아요. 마음대로 가지도 못해요. 내 고향에는. 그러니까 나는 중국에서 이렇게 있다가 여기 한국으로 왔지만 정말 우리 동포들이 있기 때문에 이렇게 우리를 나오라고 그래서 나왔지. 우리는 어떻게 할 줄도 몰라. 어떻게 됐는지.
I still can't go back to my hometown in Sangju because it brings me back all the painful memories of the war, and it brings me back all the painful memories of the war.
그리고 우리 동포들이 미국에서는 잘 살고 그러니까 못 건드리지만 남조선하고 북한에서는 못 사는 거야. 이 미국만큼 잘 살지를 못해. 그러니까 못 사는 나라만 맨지 쳐는 거야 그놈들이. 예. 그랬는데 어떻게 쓰면 좋겠는지 미국에서 우리 한국을 좀 도와주세요. 우리 한국 동포들도 많잖아요. 우리는 너무나도 침략하기 때문에 그렇게 미국만큼 잘 살지를 못해요.
The Japanese government only preyed on the weaker countries during the war, and that situation hasn't changed much to this day. And I ask the United States to help us in letting our voices be heard.
그리고 남자들은 군대로 보내고 우리 한국 사람을 여자들은 위안소로 끌려가고 우리가 왜 그래야 되겠어요? 일본 조그만 나라에서 지금은 미국에 와보니까 정말 미국이 땅덩어리도 크고 우리 동포들도 또 많고 또 우리 동포들도 잘 살고 그러니까 마음이 많이 놓이고 내가 딴 사람 보다가도 눈물은 안 흘렸어도 속으로 눈물 흘렸어요. 잘 사는 게 너무 기쁘다고요.
It just infuriates me that people from such a small island could just cause so much atrocity over such a large group of people. I come to the United States and the land is so vast and there are so many Korean American people living here. And as I'm speaking to you right now about my experience, I may not be crying, but on the inside, I am shedding my tears of both joy and regret.
남자들은 한국 사람을 남자들은 저 동생도 아니고 지 아도 아니고 마음대로 끌고 가서 전장판에 가서 죽게 만들고 여자들은 시집도 안 보낸 아들을 학생들을 막 끌고 가서 전에 마음대로 막 개털은 그렇게 막 했어요. 개한테도 그렇게 키우는 개한테도 못 그래요. 일본 사람들이 전 세계에서 제일 못된 놈들이라. 절대 일본 사람이 일어나서는 안 돼요. 다 미국 사람, 한국 사람 똑같이 힘을 줘야 돼요.
When these young Korean when these young Korean men were forcibly drafted to become soldiers for the war, and these young Korean girls still in their schools were taken to be used as sex slaves, we had absolutely no control over our action, as I have mentioned before.
여러분 감사합니다. 이렇게 우리는 뭐 정말 다 늙었고 볼 것도 없는데 이렇게 역사 문제를 들으려고 해서 요청한 거는 너무 감사하고 우리 동포들 정말 감사합니다. 정말 우리 동포들이 잘 살고 여기서 일어나고 이래서는 나는 누구 몰래 눈물을 흘렸습니다. 그전에는 못 살아서 너무 나라로 댕기던 사람들이 이렇게 잘 산 게 너무 감사합니다. 고맙습니다, 여러분.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. We are weak and old, but the fact that you still came all the way here to listen us share our experience makes me cry tears of joy. And I just like to thank you one last time. And I hope that you'll be able to help us raise our voices and receive apology and compensation from the Japanese government. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Kang said, "We are weak and old. You are anything but weak and old." Please realize that. On the other side of the table, we have a part of what I've called the Sisterhood of Survivors. We have our first survivor here, Hanny Liebman. Hanny Liebman, at the same age as you ladies, in Germany, is rounded up with her mother, her grandmother, and sent to a prison camp in France. Her grandmother dies in the prison camp. Her mother is sent to Auschwitz and executed, and Hanny is alone facing the world as a survivor. Ethel Katz, sitting next to her, young lady in Poland, when World War II starts, they survive a good part of the war, but her whole family in front of her is murdered, and she is a survivor. When I told these women, and these women, by the way, are they may say we're old and weak. They are also very, very strong and powerful. These two women are guest speakers all over the metropolitan area to groups wanting to learn about the Holocaust. But when I told them about the issue of the comfort women, and the first time we brought women to our campus, which was 3 years ago, to commemorate the 1,000th anniversary of the Wednesday demonstrations again in front of the Japanese in Seoul, Korea, in front of the Japanese embassy in Seoul, Korea. These two women jumped on board, and after they met the two women who came from Korea, Ethel got up and said, "I learned a new word today. I forgot the word, but it means sister in Korean." And they looked at these women as their sisters. I want to ask Ethel to speak first, because she had a very unique thing happen to her in regard to the comfort women. Last year at the United Nations, when the Japanese Prime Minister was there to address the United Nations, as happens at the opening of the UN, I received a call from several Korean organizations saying, "Can you give us a speaker to come down and speak on behalf of the issue of the comfort women?" And I began mentioning several of them, and one man said, "Do you know Ethel Katz?" And I said, "Yes, we want her to come down and speak." And I said, "Well, you know, she lives all the way out on the Queens border. You want her to come. We will send a limousine to pick her up." And that morning, Ethel Katz, a Jewish Holocaust survivor, is standing in front of the United Nations speaking on behalf of the comfort women. So Ethel, I'd like you to briefly tell what your reaction is having met these women.
at this reunion to see these ladies, because I understand and they understand what we went through, what we suffered. When we get together and we speak out, we bring it out, and it brings us some relief. It's kind of a therapy. I speak to her, although I need a translation because I don't understand Korean. But we feel in our hearts what they have suffered, and they understand what we have suffered. So this brings us relief. I am very happy to meet them again, to see them again, and I'm asking, how is the other friend, the lady, the second lady? Is she okay? Yeah. Thank you very much.
And now, Hanny Liebman.
Good evening. Everybody okay? Okay, let's start again. Good evening. As Dr. Flug explained to you, Ilchool Katz and I are survivors in different parts of Europe. She was in Poland, I was in France, and things were extremely difficult. By the way, let me explain to you that many of the concentration camps, the German concentration camps in Poland, had Brussels Jewish young girls for the amusement of the German soldiers and the people who were guarding the camps. So there is a similarity, okay? Yes, Germany apologized for what they did, but what is the apology good for when 6 million people are dead? There is no way that any nation can ever apologize for what happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanny. And now I want to ask Dr. Jamin Kim to introduce two student interns to talk about their experience, because one of the things we were able to do while our students who study about the Holocaust can very readily talk to Hanny and Ethel, our students who study about the comfort women issue can't really go out and come to their homes and meet them, but we have something called Skype. I didn't know what Skype was till my grandson told me what it was. And we were able to interview these women via Skype, and I'd like to ask Dr. Kim to call up two of these students so maybe they will briefly tell of their experience.
Soa Farqui and Denise Chen were two interns from last semester, and they had a Skype interview with Oksun Lee and Ilchool Kang, and they after the interview they proceeded with their individual project. Soha with her painting and Denise with her poster. So Soha, please come to the stage and explain about your painting, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Soa Faruqi, and the title of my painting is called Resilience. Kang Ilchool is the woman that I painted, and I based the title off of two qualities that I believe every strong woman has, which is patience and self-control. And if we don't have those qualities, then we can't endure any of the hardships in our lives. So that's why I named my painting Resilience. I basically wanted to give my painting a positive approach. So this is her nephew behind her. He was a high official for the Japanese government, and when Miss Kang Il-chul went to go visit him, he rejected her because he was ashamed of her. So I painted her family portraits next to her for her to see that even though she went through all those hardships in her life, that she has more to look forward to than to look back. I want Miss Kang and Miss Lee and Miss Yu, who couldn't be here, to know that I admire their courage for sharing their stories with us and for standing up for themselves and the other women who couldn't be here today. I hope that they gained inner peace from this experience like I did, and I hope that they keep moving forward and the love from their families and from their friends help them heal the wound in their hearts. I painted this portrait as an act of love for Miss Kang Ilchool, and I wanted her to see how beautiful she was, even with all the scars that her past had left her. So I hope that my painting gave her that effect. Thank you.
Now, how's that for a project? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Denise?
Good evening. Hi, my name is Denise, and I'd just like to say that you're like the bravest woman I've ever met in my life. Like I've never seen any of this kind of strength in person ever. So I'd like to bring your attention to my poster. I actually took a reference from a surviving comfort woman living in Indonesia from an artist named Jan Banning. And he did some terrific work. He went down to Indonesia and he got to know these women. And they too are survivors. You guys should really talk, you know. So I like to explain this a little bit. What I did with this was, and also I took loose reference for this picture from another artist named James Bang, and you should also watch his work. So my poster says, I was taken in my youth from my home and forced into sexual slavery. Why haven't I found any justice? I will not be silenced. I was a comfort woman. And basically the concept with this was, I want you to look into this woman's face and tell me, she looks like she could be your grandmother, right? And then you look at this picture and it's so different and you think, wow, how could this woman be this, how could it be the same person? And then I looked into my photographs at home, and this is a picture of me with my family on my high school graduation. And I want you to go take a photo from your collection and hold it up to the mirror and tell me, do you see happiness or do you see misery? Do you see someone who went through terrible, terrible things? Or do you see someone, it's different for everyone, but for these women, they lived through a nightmare and they're still here, so thank you.
I'm going to stay over there.
Sorry.
Thank you. Now, one other thing. Your mom is here. Mom, would you stand up? Okay, thank you. Thank you very, very much for that. Good. Now, there are some very important people who helped make this possible, and I want to call on them briefly. I have to extend apologies from Dr. Cole, the president of the college, who was unable to be here tonight. I also have to extend apologies from a large group of elected officials who always come and always support us, but tonight is what we call Night Out Against Crime. And as an elected official, it's your duty to go from neighborhood to neighborhood, addressing issues that people have. But one of the people who has been, I guess if I had to give an attendance award to the one elected official who, since he was elected, has never ever missed a single event at the Kupferberg Holocaust Center, it would be Assemblyman Ed Braunstein. And because he's not here tonight, he is center representative. Amber Lowe's, please come up.
Thank you for giving me this honorable opportunity to speak out or this in front of the audience here. Assemblyman Braunstein would like to thank Dr. Arthur Fleck and the Kupferberg Holocaust Resource Center and Archives for hosting this important event. He would also like to recognize the survivors for their incredible bravery in speaking throughout the United States. We owe these women a debt of gratitude for their strength and courage here tonight. It is critical that we speak truthfully about our history. Therefore, it is important for Japan to accept responsibility for the crimes its government has committed in the past. Such acceptance would bring solace to the victims and improve relations between South Korea and Japan. Once again, Assemblyman Braunstein wants to thank everyone involved in this event, and hopefully through your efforts will ensure that the atrocities discussed here tonight do not happen again.
Thank you.
먼저 뉴욕주 하원의원이신 에드워드 브라운스틴 의원님을 이러한 중요한 자리에 초대해 주신 아르터 플럭 박사님과 홀로코스트 센터에 감사함을 전합니다. 브라운스틴 의원님께서는 미국에 오셔서 말씀을 나눠주시는 생존자분들의 용기를 치아드리고자 하셨습니다. 오늘 밤 이 자리에 나와주신 여성분들의 뜻과 그 힘에 우리는 감사함을 빚지고 있습니다. 우리의 역사에 대해서 진실되게 이야기하는 것이 매우 중요합니다. 그러므로 일본은 일본 정부가 과거에 행했던 범죄에 대한 책임을 받아들여야 할 것입니다. 그렇게 인정함으로써 희생자들에게 위로를 전할 수 있게 될 것이며 한국과 일본 간의 관계를 개선시킬 수 있을 것입니다. 브라운스틴 의원님을 대신하여 다시 한번 이 행사의 모든 관계자 여러분들께 감사드립니다. 이러한 생존자분들의 노력을 통하여 오늘 밤 이 자리에서 밝혀진 잔혹한 일들이 다시는 일어나지 않을 수 있도록 공고히 할 수 있게 바랍니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you. My Korean's getting better. I understood Arthur Flug and Kupferberg Holocaust Center in what you said. Maybe next year I'll make a better thing. One of the other things that we came across is we meet some very exceptional people there. And I was able to come across a young attorney last year, Korean background, who impressed me so that I asked her if she would be interested in serving on the advisory board of the Kupferberg Holocaust Center, and she said yes. Tonight, I asked her if she would say a few words, not only in her role as a member of the advisory board of the Kupferberg Holocaust Center, but as an officer in the Korean American Lawyers Association of Greater New York, and there are a lot of you here tonight. E.J. Thorson, will you come up, please?
Hi, everyone. It is a true honor to be here tonight with everyone here, and Ms. E, and Ms. Kang, and Ms. Lieben, and Ms. Katz. I personally would like to thank Dr. Flug and the Kupferberg Holocaust Center, KACE, Calagny, the House of Sharing, and also the Washington Coalition on Comfort Women Issues for inviting us tonight and giving us this very important opportunity to come together on behalf of our Comfort Women survivors. Now, you have heard tonight that our work in terms of spreading awareness, ensuring recognition and remembrance, and also making sure that something like this never happens again, our work in that regard is not finished. So I wanted to share briefly about a recent and specific example of why we have to keep fighting. Now, not only are sex crimes and sex trafficking still an issue that we face in the world today, Ms. Yee mentioned that there was a memorial that went up in honor of the Comfort Women survivors. Not only did a memorial go up, there was a lawsuit involving that memorial, challenging the fact that it went up. That lawsuit was brought by residents of Glendale, California, against the city of Glendale, because Glendale supported this monument in their local park. They call it the Comfort Woman Peace Monument. And what that peace monument does is it recognizes the suffering of the survivors and also announces the hope that something like this should never, ever happen again. Now, in the lawsuit, the plaintiffs are claiming that the monument, the peace monument, violates their rights because, as Glendale residents, when they go to the park and see this monument, it makes them feel, quote, exclusion, discomfort, and anger, just to look at the monument. And here we are today, worrying, fighting for the exclusion, discomfort, anger, and so much more that our survivors have gone through. So, in the face of this lawsuit, Calagny, which is the Korean Bar Association here, was among the leaders in our country bringing together the Korean bar associations and other bar associations and mobilizing the country to take a stance against the lawsuit and in support of the Glendale Monument, in support of our survivors, and also, most importantly, in support of the notion that no matter your gender, your race, etc., that we could all come together and prevent something like this from happening to any group. And that's the point. And so we are happy to announce that after the lawsuit went on for a few months, yesterday, the federal district court judge in California, the Honorable Percy Anderson, issued a decision dismissing the plaintiff's case in its entirety. And in doing that, the court found first that the plaintiffs don't have legal standing to even bring these claims. And second, the court said, really, your complaint that it bothers me to see this when I go to the park is not really a legal cause of action, a legal claim that they could bring. So first, I want to recognize Calagny, led by our president, Kyun Yee, and the majority of our board members who are proud to be here tonight, and the efforts of everybody who had an impact on the case and who are still fighting on the issue. Just briefly, President Kyun Yee from Calagny, and our board members. So we do have a little bit of that good news that the case was dismissed, but the fight must go on. Why? We don't know if the plaintiffs will stop there. Will they appeal? Will they pursue other tactics to attack and deny the suffering of our Comfort Women survivors? So on behalf of Calagny and the Kupferberg Holocaust Center, and I'm sure KACE and everyone here, we are going to remain committed to continuing to fight on the issue, and we ask you to join us in this fight. Tell and retell the stories of the survivors who are here with us today, so that their legacies will not be denied or forgotten or ever repeated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd now like to call on Young Kyung Kim, the Director of Shelter and Outreach of the Korean American Family Service Center, also a very, very strong supporter. Ms. Kim.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Young Kim. I'm a director of a shelter that we have for the Korean American Service Center. We provide all the counseling for the victims of the domestic violence and then the homeless women. And since we are serving those women who were victims and then they were very weak and then hopeless, so I am feel very close to with these women. Nowadays, as she just mentioned, the sex trafficking is a very big issue in this world. Not only this country, but this country is a very big deal nowadays too. When we hear, especially too, that it happens to a young girl or young women, people get furious. Even if it happens to one person. And the people raise their voices and they say, we have to get those predators and then get them punished. It happened a long time ago, nationally, and it still didn't resolve, as we all know. This crime happened with the government and the military, and it was not only the sex trafficking, it was a human trafficking at the same time. And for the decades, these women try to get their stories known, simply wanted to hear their apology. And several decades later, we still don't have any response. But even with those ignorance and an opposition, their spirit never fails. For that, I want to thank each one of you for two warriors now, for their presence here with us today. I want to commend you for your bravery. Coming to the United States every year with their late ages is not easy. And I cannot imagine the amount of the pressure that they have to bear in order to proclaim their past to hear to our ears, to the public. And when we hear these things, and then now what we're going to do as a public, because of those tragic events, I heard that some of the people were not accepted among their people either. Should we do the same? Absolutely not. That's why we are all here. So because of this day, they try to continue the fight in order to exploit the wrongdoings of the Japanese people, the government. We must stand strong and fight with these women. And these ladies have already laid the foundation to spread the truth. Thus, we, for the sake of every woman who had to go through that ordeal, we must continue to push the truth upon the world until Japan has mended their sins, and we shall never allow this dark history to be forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you. The one single organization that stands out in support of the Comfort Women is the House of Sharing. It's a center that provides service for these women, provides homes for these women. And when we did many of our interviews, it was directly through the House of Sharing that this was arranged. I'd like to call on the head manager, who is in from Korea, An Shin Kwan, to come up briefly.
네, 안녕하세요. 나눔의 집의 안신호 소장입니다. 저희가 할머니 두 분을 모시고 7월 21일에 한국을 떠났습니다. 그래서 7월 21일부터 29일까지는 이제 LA에서 이제 활동을 하고, 그다음에 이제 31일은 이제 워싱턴에서 이제 행사를 하고, 그다음에 이제 뉴욕에서 이제 1일부터 오늘 마지막 일정입니다.
너무 많은 거 한꺼번에 얘기하셨습니다. Good evening. My name is An Shin-kwon. I'm executive director of House of Sharing, the House of Sharing in Gwangju, in Seoul. We left July 21st from Korea, and then this is our third destination We had an event in California, and then we had another one in Washington D.C., and then we are in New York.
짧다면 짧고 길다면 기는데 그런 과정에 또 오늘 어제 좋은 소식도 들었습니다. 그 LA 글렌데이시의 소녀상 철거를 일본인들이 이제 소송을 제기했는데 그게 이제 기각당했었다. 대신에 이제 그 당시 우리 할머니들이 공술서를 그 캘리포니아 연방법원에 제출했는데 그게 이제 주된 것 같습니다.
During our trip, you can say that it is short, but it wasn't that short. It was a long time. But during this trip, we heard really good news yesterday. As you mentioned, the lawsuit was dismissed. And then when they were in California, they also submitted amicus brief to support the litigation. To defend that litigation. So we think we are really happy to submit the amicus brief. And then I believe it was helpful for that.
네, 그리고 이제 그 뉴욕 시민참여센터와 함께 비공개로 백악관하고 또 국무성을 방문해서 할머니들이 또 충분하게 우리 문제를 빨리 해결해 달라고 그렇게 요청을 했고 거기서 긍정적으로 이제 답을 들었습니다. 예.
While we are in Washington D.C. with the KACE, with the Korean American Civic Empowerment, we visited White House and the State Department, and then we had a meeting with the officials, and then we got a really good positive response from the officials.
그래서 그 뭐 우리 두 할머니 작년에 뵀는데 너무도 건강한 모습으로 뵈니까 반갑고. 예.
It is second time last year I met Miss Ethel Chen, and then last year she looks healthy, and it was really good, really nice to meet.
예, 그래서 저희가 그 선물을 좀 준비했습니다. 그래서 그 요게 이제 우리 할머니들이 그리신 그림인데 이 한반도에 이제 무궁화꽃이 피었고 그다음에 어린 소년이 이제 겁에 질려서 일본군에 끌려가는 모습을 이제 고 김순도 할머니가 이제 이 그린 그림입니다. 끌려감이라고. 예, 그래서 요것을 우리 할머니 두 분께 하나씩 저기 증정하겠습니다.
This picture is titled "Drafted" or "Kidnapping" or "Being Tracked," kidnapping, and this is this little girl, and then being trapped, being pulled by a hand, and then this is Korean Peninsula with the flowers. So here we present this picture. And two more. For your information, this one is by Comfort Woman survivor. I mean, not she already passed away.
아서 원장님한테는 우리 그 나름의 명의로 이렇게 그 감사장을 이렇게 또 준비해 왔습니다. 할머니 10분 이제 사진하고 해서 관장님한테 저희가 드리겠습니다. 읽어줘야 될 것 같아요.
Yes. Yeah, it's to Dr. Fluke. Letter of appreciation presented to Dr. Arthur Fluke in grateful appreciation of your dedication and advocacy to the human rights and justice for the Comfort Woman, House of Sharing. On behalf of the victims and survivors of the Comfort Woman atrocity, July 21st, 2014.
네, 그래서 마지막으로 제가 이제 하고 싶은 얘기는 우리 할머니들은 내가 왜 그 위안부지 않는 피해자다. 그래서 용어를 좀 잘 사용했으면 좋겠습니다. 그래서 위안부란 용어보다는 강제동원 일본군 성노예 피해자라고 이렇게 사용하는 것이 문제의 본질을 정확히 전달하는 것이다. 이렇게 저는 생각합니다.
The last thing I want to make it clear is Comfort Woman survivors, they will keep asking this, why we are Comfort Woman. Actually, we are not Comfort Woman. We are drafted, forced sex slave victims. Maybe that will be right term to reuse.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you. Actually, they prepared for their museum some documents regarding their the museum they are running.
We thank you, and we're going to include this in our program here. Thank you again.
Steve. Also, Mr. An wanted to use this opportunity to present a small present to Mr. Steve Cavallo. Steve Cavallo.
Steve, come on up.
Good to see you. 어제 그 스티븐 까발로 씨가 전시회를 하는데 저희가 가기로 했는데 할머니들이 어제 그 유니버시티 기린비에 가시는 바람에 그 너무 피곤해서 참석을 못했습니다. 그래서 너무 미안하고 그래서 어제 전달을 못하고 지금 전달하는 겁니다. 예.
Yeah, Mr. Steve Cavallo is the artist who drew these pictures, and then he has an art exhibition in New Jersey, the Butterfly Museum. But actually, those two survivors were supposed to visit his art exhibition, but their health condition didn't allow them to visit them. So now he wanted to use this opportunity to present these pictures.
And speaking of presents, on behalf of the Kupferberg Center and our survivors, we'd like to present each one of you with a gift of our appreciation. We thank you. We thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before we go on to the next thing, I want to, here's one thing. I was very happy to hear about the court case from EJ, Mr. An, about that. We at the Kupferberg Center have taken on a responsibility with this program of the Comfort Women. And it really goes far beyond a monument. A monument is important. It reminds people of what happened and jogs their memory. But we here are an educational institution. And this year we began a campaign to create a permanent educational exhibit as part of the Holocaust Center dedicated to the issue of what happened with these women and others like them during World War II. We are in the process of raising funds for such a permanent interactive computerized exhibit. We hope to have $50,000 raised by the end of this year, December 2014. We've already reached $10,000 of that goal. But what we want to do is create an exhibit that on a daily basis teaches our students who come in here year after year, generation after generation, what happened so these people here will never be forgotten. And we will be contacting you and asking you for your support. We thank you for that. I want to say one other thing on a personal note. I feel very old here tonight in a happy way because I'm looking around, I think I'm old enough to be everybody's father here. When I have meetings with my Holocaust survivors, I'm the youngest guy in the room. Okay, so I want you to know how much this means to me. Okay, now I'd like to call on someone who has really been a staunch supporter of our center and who provides some insight in a very, very unique way. And I'd like to call on So Young Lee Segredo to come up, please.
제가 17명 미국 학생들을, 한국 학생들을 한국에 7월 22일부터 8월 1일까지 들고 갔다 왔어요. 그래서 제가 거기에 계셨으면은 방문하려고 했는데 작년에 제가 노래를 해드리고 그 작년에 해드렸던 이소영 선생이고요. 오늘은 한국청소년연맹 35만 명의 멤버를 가지고 있는 미주청소년연맹에 갔다 온 학생 하나 자슈와 리하고 어머님 상리 두 분을 제가 노래 혼자 하는 것보다 나을 것 같아서 준비해 왔고요. 가장 소중한 장미 향수는 아주 높고 깊은 산맥에서 2시에서 5시 사이에 그 꽃잎이 따여지는 데서 만들어진대요. 여러분들이 처음부터 열심히 해오시던 그 일을 계속해서 해나가시고요. 또 조그만 꿈이고 작아도 결국에는 더 어려운 벽을 넘어서 이룰 수가 있다는 것인 것 같아요. 그래서 준비한 곡 보내드리겠습니다. 준비도 못하고 왔어요. 별로 오늘 와서 이제 비고돼가지고. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger on endless aching need. I said love, it is a flower, and you is only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the sea that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose. 할머니, 제가 지난해에 올해는 꼭 하나 또 노래 배워서 불러드린다 해서 저는 인순이가 누군지도 몰랐었는데요. 노래 배워서 저희가 이번에 또 가서 또 아이들이랑 5천 명 앞에서 노래했는데 한국말을 모르는 학생들이 너무 많아서 이번에 애국가하고 이 오늘 너무 좋은 기회가 됐습니다. 네. The song called The Goose Stream, which he became famous by Oksun, and
우리 육순 할머니가 노래를 잘하시는데
예.
한번 마이크를 넘겨주세요.
예, 그러면 지금 가서 부르겠습니다. 지난해 할머니가 저가 노래를 할머니보다 조금 더 못한다고 그러셨거든요. 그래서 실력 발휘를 하시려고 합니다. 할머니 위해서 everybody great applause please. 예, 그럼 할머니가 자작곡 한번 해보세요 지금. 할머니가 하시고 뭔데요?
할머니 뭐 두만강을 넘어서 나라를 지켜야 된다죠? 네.
예, 그럼 그거 한번 하세요. 예, 예.
나 원래 노래할 줄 모르는데
예, 하세요.
내가 일본 사람에게 끌려가면서
예.
도망갔습니다.
This is a song that is her original song about crossing the Tumang River, and she would like to. I'm sure she debuted already, but today she would like to give you a special treat. Let's give her a round of applause.
두만강을 건넜을 때 내 고향을 돌아보며 시위리기야 찬바람에 달개 밖에서 한도 많고 서름 맞은 앞을 가연 눈물에는 반드시 내 나라를 찾겠다면서 해서
아리랑 한 곡도 하실래? 아리랑 저랑 같이 저기 무슨 키로?
무슨 아리랑을 하나? 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다 나를 버리고 가시는 님은 심리도 못 가서 발병 난다 아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다 나를 버리고 가시는 님은 심리도 못 가서 발병 난다
The Goose Stream is the song became famous by the singer called Internship. And I think that Korea has changed now. There are over a million multicultural families due to the economic success. But I was told Korea also once had discriminating non-Koreans, but now Korea has changed very much. So I just learned this song, and then I wanted to all of you know that dream starts small, but with the seeds you can able to reach that dream.
Thank you very much. Especially thanks to our new guest singers tonight. They have asked me to announce that copies of this CD will be on sale in the lobby after tonight's performance. Okay? And finally, but not really finally, you see here on the wall some outstanding paintings. These have become the symbols more than anything else of this program regarding the comfort women. You look at these paintings and there's not only an intellectual connection, there is a very powerful emotional connection. I've seen some of our students walk out crying, and there's one person responsible for it, and I like to call upon our artist, Steve Cavallo.
Thank you. It's been a long night for everyone, and I know a long trip for Halmini Yi and Kang. I started this about 7 years ago in 2007. I started doing some paintings on the subject of forced sexual slavery, and it was an art project at that time. And I got an email from Heather Evans, a volunteer from the House of Sharing, and said, why don't you come out and meet the women? And I said to my wife, Kyung, I said, gee, it's a long trip to Korea. Should we do it? And she said, let's do it. And there was one morning that I'll never forget. Walking down the road with Ilchool Kang and her showing me her garden and having breakfast with them, teaching me how to use chopsticks. And when I got home, someone asked me, what did you learn at the House of Sharing? And I learned that it's not statistics, that these are real people, that these are tragic events that happened to them. And I began, like I said, I began painting it in 2007, and here we are 7 years later, 2014, and I'm still doing paintings and exhibiting in the Nabi Museum in New Jersey. And it's not anything that I want to give up on. I want to fight for their rights. They're people now that I know. It's not just someone I read about in a book. I had the honor from the people at KACE to design the first memorial and to work with them over these years, and it's been a pleasure to fight for the rights of these women. And we were together when I think the first people from the Japanese Parliament came over to America and protest against the Palisades Park Memorial. I'll end with saying one quick thing is when it became my turn to speak to them, the people from the Japanese Parliament, I said, you came all the way over to America, a 16-hour flight from Japan, to ask us to remove our memorial. I said, did you ever take the 2 or 3 hour plane trip over to Korea and to speak to these women? I said, I have. I went over and I spoke to them face to face, and I have no doubt that their testimonies are true. And the man answered me, no, I never did. They were asking us to remove a memorial just on the basis that they wanted that removed because it was shaming their country. They had never met the victims. And now when I am confronted with someone from Japan emailing me and saying that this never happened, it's a personal issue now. I know them, and I've had the pleasure of meeting Oksun Yi many times, and I'm sure it's many years since I've seen Miss Kang, but again, she took me to see her garden. We walked down the road and had to run from a truck as a truck was passing us because it was such a thin road, and that was 2009. It was one of the most special weeks of my life, and I'll never forget it, and I'll never give up the fight. And I thank Dr. Flug and everyone else here for letting me exhibit my artwork and for letting me be a part of this. Thank you so much. And also, Mr. Ron and the people of KACE, too. Thank you.
Steve, thank you. That's all right. Before I invite you all to join us in some refreshments in the gallery, I'm not going to say see you again next year. See you next week. Okay? See you next week when we continue this program. Thank you very much.